Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Horror Night. I'm Zero. Thank you so much for joining me again. Hope you guys enjoyed the first episode. And in this episode, we're going to talk about Spooner House. A lot of you probably don't know what Spooner House is. It's not exactly a well-known, populated, I shouldn't say populated, well-known, infamous haunting or anything like that, but it does have some history to it, and it takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts, in the United States, which is right on the East Coast. So it's America's hometown. So there's a lot of history there. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about the house, the history of it first, before we get into the creepy stuff and the stuff that is allegedly taking place there. I got my hot cocoa with me and my Alice in Wonderland mug that I got at Disneyland. Yes. So I think it's too hot to take a sip of right now, so let's put that down. So thanks for chilling with me again, guys. So happy to have you here. I know this is my camera isn't the best, but I have some little ghetto Halloween decorations, some candles here, trying to set the mood in a spooky way, I guess. These lights are actually orange behind me. You probably can't tell. They look white, I think, but that's just because the lighting of the camera. So let's get into it, guys. Spooner House. Now, it was built, I got my notes here again, it was built in 1749, which is, a long time ago. It's one of the oldest structures in Plymouth, really, which is one of the older towns. So, it's still standing. It was built for, at the time, widowed Hannah Jackson. I don't know much about her, but that's who it was originally built for. But it was obviously housed to the Spooner family, hence the name Spooner House. And their family lived there for over 200 years, which is crazy to have it span that long. Deacon Spooner was the first Spooner to grace the house, and then the last Spooner to live in the house was James Spooner, and he last lived there in 1954. Now, James was a lifelong bachelor, and he was a patron of music, much like myself, very musical and into that sort of stuff. So that's a little bit about the history. It was closed briefly between 2008 and 2012, which I just found out recently, for restoration, to fix things up and see what they needed to fix at the old Spooner House. So these days it's more of a museum than anything else. But there have been some alleged hauntings and stuff that have happened there, and witness accounts and stuff. I'm going to tell you about that stuff right now, guys. I'm also going to show you some pictures. You might, you might just see it flash as I'm talking, or I might pause and show you guys some videos. We'll see. But I do have some pictures of the place that I want to share with you guys, so you get a better understanding of what it looks like. So you're not just, picturing. It's not a typical, haunted house that sits, back, in the middle of nowhere. It's surrounded by other buildings on a very popular, well-known street, I would think. A very populated area. Right on the coast, really. It's just a hop and a skip away from the ocean. So it's a very old building that sits in there. Alright, so this isn't one of the alleged things that went down in the house. I don't know. This is one of the things I read off one of my sources. Again, I'll link all my sources in the description if you guys want to get even more details, just like the Jeff the Talking Mongoose video. Alright, so this is one story I read, and I thought it was interesting and kind of spooky, and just it could add to some of the creepiness of the building. 1778, Josh Spooner, one of the Spooners, was killed by 3 revolutionary soldiers at the behest of his wife, Bathsheba. I'm sure I butchered that name, but that's what it looks like, Bathsheba. And his body placed in a well, and then turned Bathsheba to become the first woman hung in the United States. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to that, to be honest with you guys. I'm just reading what I read off one of my sources. If that's true, that's pretty creepy, that she would have him killed by revolutionary soldiers, his body just placed into a well. And obviously back then there wouldn't be, for them to figure out that she was the one that did it, because remember, this is a long time ago. They weren't able to solve crimes as well back then, because of the technology that we have today is so much more advanced. But still, but they were able to, I'm not sure how all the details went down. That's the only part that I know of in the story. Sounds like it could be fake, but Again, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it could add to some of the history of the house now. Let's see. Now, there was a girl that lived there for a while that the family took in, named Abigail Townsend. Now, she had died as a young girl with a tooth infection in an upstairs room. And, back then they didn't have any penicillin or anything to cure it with. It was probably like an abscess. I've had a tooth abscess before, and it's one of the worst pains, probably the worst pain I've ever had in my life. And it nearly killed me. I'm not even lying, guys. That's another story, but it was a long time ago, but they're no joke. And today, obviously, thankfully, we have stuff to treat them with, but back then, they didn't. Abigail died a not gruesome, but a painful, elongated death upstairs, and with this tooth infection. And that's very sad when you think about it, because this young girl, overcome by a tooth infection now that you just wouldn't see happen in today's world. So then getting to how she might haunt the place. 2005, a group of workers, sorry guys, I'm actually using my TV to kind of help light the room, otherwise you guys couldn't see me. So anyways, 2005, a group of workers were hired to do like repairs on the building. This is kind of recent, 2005. So when the workers got to the Spooner house, they rang the doorbell like anybody would. They didn't just go in. They said a girl in like colonial clothing answered the door, let them in. They didn't think much of it because it's Plymouth. There's going to be a lot of people dressed for different events and stuff in that sort of clothing, and it being the Spooner house, they didn't really think anything of it. So later on, though, the curator came over, and they told the curator, the workers did, who let them in, and the curator was like, "What girl are you talking about?" So was that the ghost of Abigail Townsend? Could have been. I mean, judging that she, died in a room upstairs in that very building many years ago, she could still be haunting there. Now, there's been other witness accounts of her. There's people who've said they've spotted her peeking out of windows. Like, a lot of people have said to have seen her peeking out of one of the windows. Oh goodness, that's still really hot. I shouldn't have done that to myself, but anyways. And she's also been known to take people's belongings, like their wallets or whatever, and leave them and take them and put them in the attic, which is I found kind of interesting. But she's apparently isn't a mean ghost. She's more of a friendly, playful kind of ghost. So, but still, I mean, if I saw her peeking out one of the windows, if I was there, I'd be terrified. I'd be like, whoa, and I would also sympathize with her about the whole tooth infection thing. But there's also been witnesses who have said they've heard music playing in different rooms and throughout the house, and they'd be downstairs and they would hear it upstairs, or they'd be upstairs and hear it downstairs, and they think that that's attributed to Abigail playing. But also, it could be James Spooner. Remember, he is the one that lived there as well till 1954, until he passed away. And he was a lifelong bachelor. He was a patron of music, remember, so any music in the building, James Spooner could be haunting the place too. I mean, it's very possible. I would know if I was in a creepy old house like that and I heard music playing that I couldn't explain. I would probably jet out of there like I just saw a spider, and I would run straight outside and probably down the street, around the corner, a mile away, until I couldn't run anymore. And then I'd probably take it all in and be like, what just happened? Like, that was spooky, I mean, those are only other than that, Abigail's been known to be seen in the bushes as well. James Spooner's apparition, I don't think, has ever been spotted, allegedly. Maybe people have, and they just haven't come out and said it. I don't know. So it's definitely a lot of history there, for it being an old building, things that did happen there, things that might have happened there. A lot of, spanned over a long period of time, and it's still, like I said, it still stands obviously today. It's more of a museum that they have like tours in during the daytime, for whatever that's worth. Another creepy thing I want to point out too. This is also about Abigail. I almost forgot this one. A neighbor was interviewed once and claimed to they didn't get her name. They didn't have the neighbor's name in the report that I read, but claimed to awake one night with Abigail standing at the foot of her bed back when, after she passed away, and long after she had passed away. One of the neighbors that lived next to the building. That is creepy. To have seen Abigail standing at the foot of her bed, awaking in the middle of the night. No thanks. Could you imagine waking up one night, just like any other night, but especially if you're waking up from like a nightmare or something, like you just woke up and you look at the edge of your bed or whatever, and there's this apparition, there's nobody else in the room. Like, what would you do? Like, would you freeze up? Would you scream? Would you run out of the house? Would you call the cops? Would you call your friend? What would you do? Like, I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably scream, for one, really loudly. And then I might freeze up a bit before I maybe run away. I don't know. Like, you never know, I guess, until something like that would happen to you. So I wouldn't know. But so yeah, that's another thing that allegedly happened in the building, which I thought was pretty spooky. So Abigail or James, who knows? What about Josh Spooner, who was allegedly killed there? Could he be haunting the place too? Could his ghostly apparition be stalking the hallways at night, looking to get revenge on his wife and the revolutionary soldiers that took his life? You never know. So, let me know what you guys think of the Spooner house, and whether you think that some of these stories are real or fake. Like I said, we don't have to debate too much whether it's real or fake, but I do want to hear what you guys have to say about everything that we talk about here. I definitely believe that there would be something creepy there. Now, I wanted to tell you one more thing about this place. I have been there. Yes, I haven't been inside because when I went, it was really late, and they were closed. The building was closed. You can't get in there at night. So, but I have been there. I've actually been there, physically been there, right next to the building. Like, you can walk right up to the building at like any time of day. Right up to the next to it. 'Cause it's right off the street and right in a busy area, so you can just walk right there. It was like right there. So, and at night it's creepy because all of the windows are all boarded up, so you can't see inside. You can't see. Everything's all boarded up. The house is very, it's very spooky looking. Since you're like right next to the windows and stuff, I'm trying to peek in like the little cracks of the shutters or whatever. I was trying to see in there if I could see, maybe Abigail peeking out or something. I couldn't really. It was so dark in there. Like you couldn't see anything. Just peeking in with the little cracks that you could see in. It was so dark. The backyard is fenced in. It's like blocked off, so you can't really see. But I was able to get up on this little like this pillar thing. I was kind of balanced. I climbed up and balanced on it, and was peeking over the fence so I could kind of like see inside, like in like the backyard. It's this little backyard. It's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, guys. It looks fake almost because of how, I don't know, like how old it seems, and just there's like this little garden area, and it's really neat looking. It really is. And I was just trying to, see anything I could possibly see as I was standing up there trying to balance and, peek over the fence, because the fence is like solid wood, so you can't really see into the yard unless you like look over the fence. Now, the creepiest part though that from my experience was, like I said, every window was boarded up, every single one, front and back, everything. Second floor was all boarded up, so you couldn't see it except for one window, and that was the one that leads into the attic. If you believe that. Yep. So you can see the attic window from the backyard. You don't even have to peek over the fence because it kind of obviously it sits over the fence, and it's just looking down at you, and it's just sitting there, just the only window not boarded up. So I was just staring there. My friend was looking too. I was just staring, hoping to see something. You could see the light, the moonlight kind of reflecting off of something in the room, but I don't know if wise plans trick on me, whether there was like furniture in there or something, or maybe it was the ghost of Abigail waiting, or some other ghostly figure waiting in there. It was I was trying to tell, because it looked like, the light was reaching into the room, but like reflecting off of something. It was really, really weird. It was very spooky, because obviously, it's the middle of the night. I was there, and I was trying to see inside this alleged haunted building. The only window that was open was the attic, where she's been known to take, people's belongings and leave them there. So was she up there staring back at us? Was she, hoping that we would, climb up there and, and go into the yard so she could take my belongings and put them up there? I had my keys on me, so I don't want her taking my keys. So yeah, guys, I've actually been to the building. Now, if I was doing this channel back then, this was like maybe 2 years ago, when I had actually gone there. If I was actually doing this channel back then, I would have taken some pictures and even some videos if I could have for you guys, so you guys could at least seen what I saw. But since I wasn't doing this channel then, obviously I didn't really think of, to record any of it. I was just going to see with my own eyes, It's a very, very neat building, a very neat yard as the light on my TV goes off again. Or maybe that's, Abigail's ghost here trying to, mess with my technology here, saying don't talk about me anymore. No, she wouldn't be here, would she, in that way? Most of the ghosts would just stay. They haunt places, not people, or they haunt the people? I don't know, that's interesting to think about. Do ghosts haunt people, or do they haunt the places, or can it be a little bit of both? I think it could be a little bit of both, to be honest with you. If a spirit is attached to a person, then obviously they're going to follow them. If it's attached to the place, like Abigail might be, like James Spooner, like Josh Spooner could be, then yeah. They probably are just sitting in the Spooner house. Like I said, today it's more of like a museum that they have, they give tours to certain rooms during the day. That'd be neat to see, but it really wouldn't deliver that haunting experience, at least not for me. Let me in there at night. Let me spend a night in there upstairs. Let me rent out a room for a night and just sleep there, with the lights off and, a camera or something, and just, some candlelight, and just listen and see if anything happens, I think that would be more fun than anything else. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. James Spooner, Josh Spooner, we talked about Abigail, Deacon Spooner, the first person to live there. I don't think there's anything else that I really have any more information that I have that's really interesting about it. There's more stuff. Like I said, you guys can click those links and get more stuff on it if you want. And if you guys have actually been there, anyone that's been there, let me know and tell me what you think of it, what your experience with any of this building. So, like I said, it's in Plymouth, Massachusetts. You can go there today. You can go take a tour there if you want. They do ghost tours in Plymouth. I never did one, but apparently you can do ghost tours there, and they'll take you around the town, tell you about certain stuff. And I don't know. It always, seems kind of cheesy to me, but they're actors that just kind of talk about stuff or something. And I don't know. I want to go and really experience this stuff on my own terms, and not just stop by, for a second. I want to go and actually, like I said, I want to spend a night in this building. So if they ever do open it up to letting people spend the night there, that would be something I'd be totally interested in, even though it would freak me out. Whether I hear or see anything or not, it's still going to be kind of spooky, just because of how old it is, So guys, I think that's more or less going to wrap up this second episode of Horror Night. I love doing this. This is just a lot of fun, just chilling out with you guys and talking creepy stuff, giving you guys some information and stuff that I think is very interesting. Like I said, we're going to cover a lot of topics in this series going forward. It's not just going to be haunted places or stuff. It could be aliens, it could be conspiracies, it could be, like I said, my favorite horror movies or horror games or anything, just, it could be a number of things, if you, like I said, if you guys have any topics that you want me to cover, I'll be more than happy to talk about them. I just want it to be something that has some substance and spooky enough that, might creep us out just a little bit. So I'm going to probably post this video a few days or so before Halloween. I'm thinking of doing a live stream on Halloween for the next episode of Horror Night on Wednesday. So I don't know if any of you would be interested in that, like Halloween night, maybe me live streaming through YouTube, if I can set it up correctly, and just maybe talk about some of our favorite Halloween things. Like I might talk about movies I'd like to watch on Halloween and my experiences and memories of Halloween, you know, as a little kid, which I think would be kind of neat. And then if you guys stop in, you can chat with me, tell me about your experiences on Halloween. I think that would be fun. I think I want to do that anyways, whether anybody stops by or not, just have another episode. Like I said, if I can set up the recording correctly, I will certainly do it. Just it doesn't have to be another long episode. It could be another short 20 to 30 minute episode like this one, just because I got a lot of stuff I'm going to do on Halloween, guys. So not only for the channel but for myself. So it's going to be a busy day, and I'm very excited. It's my favorite day of the year. I love Halloween so much. I can't stress that enough. I love Halloween. My favorite holiday. And like I said, my favorite day of the year. I look forward to this day every single year. And I get bittersweet when it's almost over, when that clock almost hits midnight or I'm about to go to bed, because I know it's going to be another year before it comes back. But it'd be kind of special to spend some of it with you guys. So if you think you'd be interested in that, obviously let me know too, guys, for those that watch this. And I could probably do maybe a timed live stream on Halloween, and so you guys know ahead of time what time it's going to be, and I can probably advertise that through YouTube somehow, because they have this new premiere countdown thing, I think. So I don't know if I can use that or not, but we could try. Like I said, we'll see. If you guys do see me go live on Halloween, please stop by and say hello, and tell me about your Halloween, what you guys are up to, and what you've done before in Halloween. So that's gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna finish off my hot cocoa with my Alice in Wonderland mug, and probably get to work on some more videos, streaming wise, for the gaming stuff. So again, thank you to everybody who watched the first episode, and thank you to everybody who's watched this one. I really appreciate it, guys. This is awesome. And there'll be more of these to come, you know that. There'll be plenty more to come. So please join me, guys. And give me any feedback that you want to give, whether it's about the video or the stories that I talk about. Okay? So with that, I leave you guys. Until next time.